Big day ahead. Ohayou gozaimasu. Good morning. Welcome to On Today's Ride, part 2. And now the action begins. We got a big day in the mountains ahead. It's about 6 a.m. Woke up at 5:15. Didn't have the best night's sleep. Well, I had a pretty good night's sleep, but I woke up about 150 times. We're leaving Tokushima City now, heading out. And yeah, we got a big ride through the mountains to Kochi. Which confusingly is also a city that I have visited in Kerala in India, but this is Kochi in the south of Shikoku Island. It's about 160 kilometers, 100 miles, and I think about 3,500 meters of climbing. That's, it's not quite half the height of Mount Everest, but it's not far off. Anyway, easy to start, easy to finish, and then lots of action in the middle. I spent in the end 2 nights in Tokushima, which was great. It's a lovely little town. Primarily because I'd been in touch with the guy through internet, through Strava, called Sean Rides Japan, who's a local expat, has been living here a long time, and is a bike tour leader. So I thought he would be a very good person to go out for a ride with. He showed me the city, fantastic. Lots of super spots, shrines, temples, Ohenro, which we'll come back to. He even took me to a sake distillery for a tasting mid-ride, so that was perfect. And helped me plan today's ride, because my original plan went out the window for various reasons. So yeah, now we're riding straight to Kochi. You can see the mountains ahead. I hear it's a beautiful, if demanding ride. But no pain, no gain. Sake tasting with the master.
超スペシャル。袋絞りって言います。袋絞りはこういう巾着布の袋に入れて、ポタ。
ああ、
ちょっとだけ。
That's pretty good. Also excellent.
Arigato.
I've had no breakfast. I had a coffee before I left. That's it. I'm gonna ride for a bit. There's a bit of a climb ahead, and then hit a convenience store and get something to eat. I had a good meal last night. I had a Japanese curry. They don't like spice in this country much, so I went for you get to choose the spiciness of your curry, so I went strong, and boy, it was a little spicier than I expected. Anyway, a good few calories. That's the main thing. On the outskirts of town, it is 14 kilometers to Kamiyama, which is a little town. There's a bit of a climb. There's a 5k climb in the way. Nothing too brutal by the looks of it. And in Kamiyama, I was told will be perhaps the last convenience stores for quite a way. So I'll get some brekkie there. I'll get some snacks. There's always vending machines around, but I've been told going over some big mountains there may be nothing. I don't want to carry too much water. You normally find something. And if the worst comes to the worst, got to ride a little dry for a while. Conditions are 25 degrees out, very pleasant, humid. Weather's supposed to be good for the next few days, and then there's some big rain coming. So plan is get around the island to Matsuyama city and maybe hole up there for a day or two. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. For today, we'll just enjoy these lovely little roads. Quick geography lesson. I mean, this is all new to me. I knew very little about Japan until I started looking at coming here. Many islands in Japan, but 4 main inhabited ones. So there's Hokkaido in the north, which is the second least populous. Then the big island of Honshu, which contains Tokyo, Osaka, Hiroshima, and then southwest of there, Kyushu, Fukuoka city on there. That will be the second most populated. Honshu is the main one. And then Shikoku Island, which is sort of south of Honshu, south of Hiroshima and Osaka, and is the least populated. And least populated means best for cycling. It's also mountainous. It's the only island, apparently, of the big islands that doesn't have a volcano. I can live without that. Into the first climb now, proper. This road is exactly the sort of road I would hoped it would be. Single lane, almost no traffic, very pretty well paved for the most part. I mean, you have to consider that Japanese climate is pretty tough on roads. Ice and snow in the winter, boiling hot, heavy rains. But I'm glad I'm on the gravel bike. It means I don't have to worry about every little wrinkle in the road. I will have many tunnels to traverse. This is the first one, but it's a baby. Ozakura Tunnel, 131 meters. Out the other side, and now all the way down, back to sea level. Family Mart approaching. Time for breakfast. Let's go and see what they have. What have we done? 27 kilometers, 400 meters of climbing. So barely scratched the surface. Let's see what we can find for breakfast. Lots of sort of prepared meal, even, whole meals like that. It's very nice. Not good for vegetarians, I'm afraid. Sushi, of course. Onigiri. Very nice, little triangular rice cakes, sandwiches, little salads, fish and meat and vegetables and tofu, lots of tofu, drinks, and then the whole fridge is full of beer and sort of mixed alcoholic drinks. They like their alcohol there in Japan. And then all sorts of snacks and goodies. So we'll find a little selection and have a bite to eat. Well, we've got a selection of goodies. Got a iced coffee, got some sort of sandwich, got an omelette, Japanese omelette, got, what else have we got? We've got an onigiri with salmon, I think, and we've got a sweet red bean pastry. And I got a free little tissue with tables outside. Sometimes there's places to sit inside in convenience stores, not this one. There's always toilets, restrooms. So it's a perfect setup. However, this is the last one for many miles. We've got the big climbs to do, so I'm going to get this food down me. I'll probably keep the omelette and the cakey thing for the top of Mount Tsurugi, when I suspect I shall be very hungry. Question is, shall I buy another bottle of water? Probably not a bad idea, is it? I have learned how to open an onigiri because it's a rice cake inside with a wrapper, like a seaweed wrapper, but obviously it doesn't store well if the rice comes into contact with the wrapper. So very cleverly, in very Japanese style, let's see if we mess this up. Number one, you pull this thing all the way around. That comes off. Number two, you hold your onigiri, pull number two off, and that slides out, and then number three comes off, and there we have it. You can just sort of tuck the edges in. And that is my onigiri with salmon filling. I hope I caught that on camera. Looks very tasty. Let's have a bite. All right, I have a little complaint about Japan, and that is, I was led to believe it was a country of cats, and I have seen very few cats. There was a cat cafe next to my hostel in Osaka. I saw one solitary cat yesterday. So if they are a big nation of cat lovers, they're keeping them well locked up. Near the top of this climb now, mostly undercover, so it's good. I'm sweating heavily. I didn't bring an extra bottle of water, I just guzzled like a litre, so I did bring an extra bottle of water, but in the belly, not on the bike. Up through these lovely pine forests. A little bit to go. I referenced the Ohenro earlier. So I'll say a little bit more about that. My limited understanding, having spent 24 hours on Shikoku. But the Ohenro, and I had vaguely heard of it before, is a pilgrimage. You could say in the style of the Camino de Santiago, St. James's Way in Spain, which I have walked. This is kind of the Japanese version. It's a little bit more intense. It involves visiting 88 shrines, or temples, one or the other, around Shikoku Island, and I mean around. So if you do the full thing, you walk 1,300 kilometers around, whilst dressed like a Ohenro-san, a pilgrim, wearing a special robe and a kesa, and a rather glorious hat, and carrying a staff. And then at each temple you carry your book, and it gets stamped, which is similar to the Camino, but I saw them yesterday. I'll see if I can get it on film. They also do this beautiful calligraphy in it to mark that you did that shrine. There's a lot of Japanese walking the Ohenro, but it seems that more and more foreigners are getting interested and coming to do it. And like the Camino, it's not just a long distance walk. It is it's a spiritual practice. It's a meditation. It's a time for reflection. I did find, walking the Camino, you meet a lot of people. Everyone's got a story to tell. Everyone's got a story about why they came to walk the Camino, what they're looking for, and how it's affected them. And I suspect the Ohenro is very similar. Anyway, we're doing our own sort of Ohenro, our own pilgrimage of Shikoku, cycling around. Over the top, and after being in the woods, all the hills here are heavily forested, which is excellent for many reasons and great for shade, but it's really nice to come out and wow. And see that. Listening to the crickets. It's very quiet up here now. We're away from the water. You can just hear a leaf falling. Very zen. What they call a rest stop with a vending machine. That's good. You can get a cold drink. They've even got snacks. Very handy. So very civilized in Japan. Vending machine, got a drink, some sort of lemony confection for 150 yen, so about $1 or so, pretty cheap. And nice bench and lovely plants, free toilets that was immaculately clean, and maybe I'll say something about Japanese toilets later, but they are 23rd century. Anyway, so it's nice to take a little rest, and now we've got the big climb up. We've got about 1,500 meters up. It's getting hot, but we're at higher altitude now, so it's a bit more bearable. Anyway, I'll finish my drink, keep my snacks, and keep on rolling that way. Conditions are good. I'm out in the open more on this climb, but it's clouding over a little bit, which is great, and we're up to 600 meters above the sea level, so it's not super hot. About 27 degrees according to my computer. Yeah, humid, but feels fine. Coming from way up there. Through this tunnel, I think this marks the top. Yeah, it's a little bit of a parking area. I'm going to take a rest. I've been riding 4.5 hours, 74 kilometers, over 2,000 meters of climbing. Tough old morning. Oh, vending machine. Thank the Lord. Little rest. There's a bench. There's running water. There was a vending machine. I got a green tea this time. I was hoping it'd be sweet. I could do with the sugar, but it's not sweet, but it is very nice. And cold drinks are quite large here. This is a little bit more expensive, I think, because we're at the top. So 190 yen. It's like, just over £1, but still reasonable. I'm going to eat my omelette and my red bean paste cake, and then 10 kilometers down, and then a horribly steep 5 kilometers up, and then it should be down all the way to Kochi. And I booked a place in Kochi, Katsuo guest house, which was highly recommended. It's not super cheap, but it does sound good, so it's nice to have something waiting for me, because I think I'll be needing it by the time I get there. Okay, food time. Well, we've done the descent. I went to look at the route that I had planned, and it turned out it was a gravel route. Not a bad thing in itself. I'm on a gravel bike, but I don't know anything about it. I know it's extremely steep, and it's probably not the best way to go. So I'm going to take the road way, which is this way, which is a bit longer. It's an extra 10k, but it hasn't got that horrific climb. So I'm quite happy about that. There's some weird things going on around here. I don't know what they're all about. Dolls. And we're going straight down over this big gorge. Inside. I think this is going to turn into one of those days. We've done 6.5 hours riding. We've still got 78 kilometers to go. I can't quite tell how many hills there are, but there's certainly a few tunnels. 141 meters, that's all right. It's the big ones that are not very nice. And this one's well lit, so that's okay. But yeah, now we're racing against sunset. I'd say we got 4 hours, so we should be all right. I think we'll be okay. But I may just reconsider the huge ride I had planned for tomorrow. Oh, thank the Lords. Family Mart. My goodness me. You don't know how happy I am. I haven't eaten a thing for 4 hours since I had that omelette and pesty, which was probably only about 300 calories. I need to eat and drink a lot. Whew. Sometimes they have a seating area. This one didn't, nor did it have a table outside, but I did find this chair around the back, probably for the staff to come and smoke in. Perfect. Anyway, I got some sort, I don't even know what this is, some sort of omelette and rice confection. Looks good, looks like calories. Big bottle of lemon drink, bottle of water. 35k only to ride, and I think it's flat the whole way in. So we should be in, what time is it? Oh yeah, we'll be in time for sunset, no worries. It's nearly 4 now, so if we get on the road in 15 minutes or so, we'll be there by 5:30. We're gonna make it. Last few K riding into Kochi now. Not so exciting from the suburbs and the outskirts, but I hear it's a nice town. Oh man, that food saved me. That water saved me. That cold drink saved me. And then a gift from the gods themselves, like a nearly 10k downhill into Kochi. That was sweet, and it was very fast as well. Oh man, just not having to pedal for 15 minutes. Well, it looks like we're going to make it. Hostels ahead. That means shower, food and beer, and not necessarily in that order. Should be just here. There it is, Katsuo Guest House. What a welcome sight.